Hey again, guys. Other information about the mechanism of injury. So, we were given a little bit of information, and I think we can infer a little bit whenever we make our, scene size up. However, within this, scaffolding has levels, right? It's not just base and then top. You usually have one, two, three, at least, you know, usually at least three or four, if not more, levels to scaffolding. So at that point, you need to know if anyone saw what level he was on, about how high he dropped. He could have just been on the first level, slipped and fell back, and hit his head off the first level, which is only about 7-8 feet off the ground. Or he could have been 4 levels up and 20-30 feet up off the ground. It doesn't, you don't know, and you need to know. You also need to know, did anyone see if he fell directly on his head, if he hit something else and then hit his head? You gotta know if people saw what happened. You gotta know, hey man, what were you doing? Did you pass out and then fall? Did you trip and fall? There's a lot of history that's not told on here. That we need to know that will help us determine, was it a direct impact on the head from 5, 10, 15, 20 feet? Was it I hit my side on the way down on another level of scaffolding and I hit my head as a secondary impact? Or, those are things we need to be getting from the patient, before we even begin transport, before we make that decision, because we need to know the mechanism and how and where and history in order to make that decision. Traumatic injury, easy. It was blunt. Nothing went through. Hematoma as a result of blood vessel busting and fluid swelling in one area. Patient should definitely be transported. You got a hematoma on the head. He fell from scaffolding. Could be 5'10". Doesn't matter. He was walking away. He's intoxicated, which means things are more relaxed, including, blood pressure is usually relaxed. All these different things. Blood flow is a lot higher. If, people who get in car wrecks and are drunk are usually safer than people who get in car wrecks and are not drunk, because people tense up when they see something's about to happen or know something's about to happen. If there's alcohol in this patient's breath, good chance he was pretty relaxed when he fell. So you gotta take those things into consideration. Also, giving drugs should be taken into consideration, and where you're taking them should be taken into consideration, because not only is there probably brain bleed or at least a concussion, the alcohol could influence certain drugs being given to the patient for pain or whatever other occurrences may have happened. Stabilization should happen as soon as we get our hands on the patient. He's walking away, LOC is not great. He's not really completely A&O, judging by what's going on here. He's initially refusing, doesn't really know what's going on. Stabilization, he shouldn't be walking anymore. He should be instantly put on at least the stretcher, if not a backboard, and with a seat collar. Judging by the mechanism of injury that we know of. As soon as we see him in the field, that's why. Because the longer we wait, the longer, if there is intracranial pressure building, or there is brain bleed, or there is all these different things that we're holding off on, could be hurting the patient. 3 injuries, like I've mentioned before. Concussion could be a result of the injury. Things that could have caused the fall. Low blood sugar. Obviously being drunk could cause that. And there's other injuries that could happen. Brain bleeds. You could have basilar skull fracture. There's so many different things that could go wrong. You could have a spinal cord fracture. you know, and depending on the way he fell, it could have a crushing injury to your spine, depending on, you know, the way he fell. If he fell directly on the top, could compress down on the spine and rupture a ton of discs and vertebrae and whatever else. But yeah.